Well, hello, race fans. How we doing today? Hey, something different. We're gonna start doing some podcast action. And as listen, okay, one thing you guys gotta understand: episode one. This we are in absolute shambles. We are brand new to the podcast space, so this first episode might be a bit shaky, as far as everything. I guess really. Right now, it's kind of cool. We're gonna have like a kind of an open forum, right? So anybody in the league at any point can come into the session or into the on air, and we can talk and just kind of talk about the races last week and the races coming up in the future this week. Just anything league related. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Something different. It'll allow everybody to kind of get a feeling as to where the league is, maybe ideas, for season four and things like that, 2023. But it's kind of just a chill environment. Don't mind the ambulance and police car flying by my window right now. We're gonna make this a complete, raw and unedited version. What you hear is what you get. What happens happens, and we're gonna just have fun with it. Might be like a good half an hour, 45 minute, maybe an hour session. Maybe on Mondays, maybe on Tuesday. I don't know. Right now, we're gonna just kind of chill, um, and I think it'll be pretty fun. Um, Thomas Meeks in the chat. You sound like a robot. Do I really? That's not good. If I do, I do. But no, seriously. If I do, let me know. A couple guys here in the on air: Brandon Shelton and Frankie Bro. So, two of our Cup guys. Guys, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Steve. How about yourself?
I'm, d- I'm doing great. How you guys doing,
Yeah.
Frankie? Are we here? How we doing?
Yeah, no, my bad.
Okay,
I'm here. I'm doing all right.
so you're in
Steve,
shambles
I
too.
think Frankie is recovering from the race yesterday.
I'll tell you what, Frankie had a good time. It sounds like, man. Homestead race was it? Was
I
it? What
had,
was it fun?
yeah, I had a great time. I was in the infield out of turn two, so saw some good action. Definitely kind of surprised to see at least what I saw. Um, and also what I wasn't surprised to see was uh, Larson finally taking a win there at one of his better tracks, and also a couple spins actually were right in front of me. John Nemechek filling in for Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. Both spun basically right in front of us.
Oh man, that's awesome. That is awesome, Frankie. But let's not talk about those amateur drivers. And Steve, I obviously am going to let you set this up, and Frankie, you too. Can we please talk about the road race that we just had last Thursday? Not only was it a road race for us oval guys, but it was a playoff race as well. How awesome was it?
Ooh, Steve, I'm gonna have to
I mean,
tee it off to you.
yeah, man. I'll tell you what. It was a really fun time. I think right now we're watching actually some replay action of that race. Just to kind of give us some background to it. Obviously, in a real podcast setting, we might upload these to Spotify or something like that. But Apple TV or Apple Music, whatever the hell they're called, I don't know. Again, absolute shambles. Just revert to the episode name. But I think we're gonna have fun with it. Road America though was a lot of fun. Definitely different for us. We only do these twice every season, so it's not something that we're gonna be getting into all the time. But it's gonna be definitely fun. It's a good challenge. Real quick too, guys in the chat. Thomas, I see you, and then AJ. How's the voice now? I know the robot thing was going on. Are we better? Made some changes, but all good. So a couple things I want to go over, guys. Obviously, it's a big week just happened, right? Last week was Road America. Truck Series was off, which is cool. So this week we have a big week cutoff race for a couple different guys. Truck Series has North Wilkesboro tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. And then we also have the Cup Series back in action on Thursday in Auto Club, fan favorite. What are you guys' thoughts on? We'll start truck series tomorrow. What are you guys' thoughts on that right now?
I would say North Wilkesboro.
What do we expect? I
Uh,
guess.
Oof. I would say probably a little more like Martinsville
Right.
than New Hampshire. Kind of trying to figure out what a race is like. I mean, I've only ran it once, and it wasn't even in a truck or the next gen. It was in the other gen Cup car, the Gen 6.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm trying to remember exactly how I drove it. I wasn't great there. I'm not a great short track guy, but if I remember correctly, I think the bottom will be kind of the way to go. It'll mostly be kind of almost like a flatter Bristol, where your exit's going to be crucial in Martinsville. It'll be kind of a mix of both, where you kind of need the middle of the corner and you need the exit. So it'll be kind of definitely be a nice battle here in North Wilkie.
North Wilkie. I love it. I can't disagree with him. I don't think I've ever raced it. So I'm going to be in that truck race, and my goal is just to see what some of the faster guys are running, try to imitate to the best of my ability, and just white knuckle it the entire time around and just try to have a blast.
I love hearing that, man. Hey, real quick, let's go to the Truck Series points right now. Going to be on screen for you guys. I'll tell you what, Nick Lights, our boy, fresh off of the Truck Series Camping World Truck Race in Homestead, did a great job for Rayun Brothers. Currently leading dominantly, 51 points. But unfortunately, he's getting a race ban for North Wilkesboro for some on-track activities at Martinsville, ones that we like and don't like to see, but ultimately, I mean, those things have to happen, right? It's just, you got to do it. But Joseph Mealy, Matt Ponte, and Landry Monty having a good run so far. And then Michael Klein, Larson Pasoko, and Balance right now fighting for their life in the round of 8. I'll tell you what, though, North Wilkesboro, I think we're going to get to your point, Frankie. We're going to see a lot more Martinsville with North Wilkesboro. After this track, it all kind of, the tracks kind of get bigger and faster, things like that. But, I mean, as far as aggression levels, I mean, do we expect to see the same thing from Martinsville at North Wilkesboro? I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Ooh, I mean, right now we have basically 5 guys within 1 point of each other. So I think the aggression level, so it kind of depends on the driver. If you're Joseph Miele, who's 22 points above the cut line, I don't think he's going to be knocking guys out of the way per se, but as long as he doesn't have a bad day, as long as he doesn't not get stage points, if he doesn't miss any stage points, as long as he finishes where he's supposed to, then I think he'll be okay for next week. Same thing with Matthew Pont. But if you're Landry Monty and below, you are fighting for every spot imaginable. If you see a position in front of you, try to go ahead and be as aggressive as possible. Try to take it. We'll see kind of how it is. If I had to guess, it'll probably be a little less aggressive than Martinsville, because Martinsville's kind of it's the cutoff race. So I think guys just want to have a good day because they know what's coming next week, and everybody can win, or almost anybody can win what'll be next week, which is Talladega.
Now, Frankie, can I ask you this? If you are Ponte or Mealy, and I'm really sorry if I'm not saying that correctly, but if you are those 2 drivers where you're almost safe to say that we can possibly move to the next round as long as we have a decent race, wouldn't you want to go into next week having that win and be super aggressive during the race? That way they can go, if they were to win, they can kind of take a break, relax, try to get the win next week. But if not, they know that they're already in because they don't have to rely on points, but they can rely on that win. So I would tend to disagree with you saying, we're just going to sit back, try to have a decent race. I'm thinking they're going to be sitting up in that wheel, white knuckle, and they're going to go for that W.
Actually, you bring up a great point. The fact that if they win tomorrow night, if one of those 2 win tomorrow night, and anybody that's racing tomorrow that's still in the playoffs, they're advanced. They don't have to worry about Dega. They can just ride, chill out next week, and don't have to worry about it. So I think it depends with certain situations. Like I think if Joseph is fighting Landry for the win, and if Meal is in second, does he go? Does he try to get aggressive to go for the win? I think so, because obviously he wants that win, but especially if it's to Landry, who's below him, and that could cause some chaos between him, Nick Lights, and Matt Pont. So I think it's situational aggression is basically what I'm trying to get at. But yeah,
Now,
you can definitely see.
can we be safe to say that the only person that can sit back and relax this race is the only driver that will not be participating? And that's he's the only one that can really sit back and say, man, I hope all of them wreck on lap 1 and can't finish the race, and I'll stay in the points lead and go to Dega and be happy. But I think, and obviously, Frankie, with you doing such a great job as our race control, I think you're going to be busy. I think we're gonna see a lot of aggression come out. I think you might even see some of the playoff guys, or guys that think they should have been in the playoffs. I think you'll see their aggression just so they can prove to those playoff guys, like, hey, listen, just because I didn't make the cut doesn't mean I can't beat you. And I think that short track racing temper, I think they're going to flare, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, you bring up another great point. I mean, sound like a broken record, but that's, I think, 2, 3, or 4 great points you bring up, Sheldon. Exactly. I mean, those guys who did not make it out of the round of 12, they want to prove a point, and I really feel kind of a little, not the brightest bulb in the shed for not even thinking that, but
it's going to be tough, right? Because I mean,
yeah.
Martinsville is I mean, North Wilkesboro, right? It's the smallest of the small. Going to the next week, right? Talladega is the biggest of the big. So it's a complete phase change in this one round, and it's really going to favor the guys who can adapt the most. Real quick, truck points obviously are heads and tails right now. It's crazy. Tomorrow night on this channel right here, 9:30 p.m. Come check us out. It's going to be a hell of a race, North Wilkesboro. I'll be calling the race. Frankie here will be race control. Maybe in the booth, we'll see. But hey, speaking of the booth, I want to get Reese Kelva in here from our Cup Series.
What up, baby?
What's going on, man? Hey, something a little new here. Little podcast action. Gonna try and
I like it.
We're in Shambles, okay? I think we know this, but
That's where we want to be.
That's
how we know we're home.
Exactly. So, but yeah, man. I mean, obviously, Truck Series talk just kind of got done. That I do want to get into the contender playoffs and championship playoffs here in a second. But what are your thoughts, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, real quick. I heard voices in my head, and it was Wilkesboro. And then I heard last week being brought up. Listen, there's a few guys out there that we know of. They do spot on, spot off. I'm going with Shelton being spot on. If y'all thought Martinsville was something, wait for Wilkesboro. Wait for this redheaded stepchild to show you their face. Where were we a few weeks ago where it was like 2 laps caution, 2 laps in the caution? Well, it was a little tight track. Do y'all remember here with the trucks?
Oh man.
Was it New Hampshire?
No.
Right.
Oh,
maybe
Nashville Fairgrounds,
Hickory.
maybe. Oh, Hickory.
Hickory. Hickory. So I don't think it's going to be as bad as Hickory.
Right.
Lord, I hope not. But I do think if Martinsville showed us anything, it was get ready because North Wilkesboro's coming, baby.
I think
I see this being very feisty.
Oh yeah. I mean, the track is full of history, right? Short tracks.
It's bouncy.
Oh yeah. The line around this place is nuts. It's not conventional as far as the truck. In the particular truck, it's going to be, interesting, but it's going to be a challenge. And if people have leftover aggression from Martinsville, it's going to flare. It's going to happen.
And the aggression, this is the podcast, right? This isn't the broadcast. So
Right.
Now I want to know y'all's thoughts real quick. Sorry, I'm not trying to take over, but real quick. Do you like it, the aggression on the track? My point of view, real quick, before you answer that, is if these guys didn't try, is the league as good? Right? To me, these drivers battling each other, giving each other the bumper, all these heated exchanges, to me, it proves to us that we're doing something right here because these guys care. Like they're getting mad enough. They care. If they weren't getting mad, they wouldn't care, and none of this means anything to anybody. So I kind of like it.
Well, hey, that's a great point. And if I can just jump in as a mid-pack guy, I can tell you it doesn't matter where I'm at on the track. Whoever's in front of me, I'm racing them hard because I do care so much, because it always looks a little bit better to see, hey, you finished 12th, not 13th. And that guy in 13th is thinking the same daggum thing. He's like, yeah, I bet you I can take that 12th from you just as fast as you can take that 11th, or vice versa. All I'm saying is I love the aggression, especially sometimes I'll have my hands full in the car, and I'm like, man, a caution would be nice. And then all of a sudden, tempers are flaring. I'm like, thank you. So, hey, I love it. I'd love to see more of it, as long as we're not affecting the race, right? And I don't mean that as far as, rubbing a guy, racing him hard, and he loses control and he's out. I'm just talking about maybe some stuff that maybe we haven't seen or have seen, but really affecting the race as far as purposely taking a guy out, which causes another guy and another and another, and then we snowball. But other than that, I love the aggression. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, and it's going to be a blast.
I think also what the aggression kind of tells you is that, again, a lot of people care, but it's also, if you try and sit and ride around, you as a driver, you're not getting any better. You're not getting any better. You're not figuring out what works, what doesn't work.
Yep.
You're
That's a
not.
good point.
You're not figuring out what not only your limit is, but the car limit and what the competition limit is. So, sometimes it's better to just kind of see what you can do. Obviously, within a certain time, right? Like you're not gonna try and go for, like a 5-car length dive bomb into turn 1 on lap 1. At least that's my opinion. I don't think that's really a smart move. But if you see you got to run on someone and it's coming to 3 to go, and that one spot you might get might help you later in the playoff race, you're taking that run all day long, and I just think it's some guys that really want that spot, and guys who don't want to give up that spot. It's just kind of the immovable object versus the irresistible force or something like that. I always forget the saying to that.
Have y'all run Wilkesboro with these trucks?
Personally, no.
I don't think that's really a
Steve?
smart move, but if you see
I haven't really raced the truck there, honestly, yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
haven't either.
I feel like I've taken a few laps there, and the line you have to take it's awkward. But it's kind of nice, right? Like it's got its own unique challenge to it. Turns 1 and 2 and 3, 4 is just so different.
And all I have to go off of is IRL stuff, and that's them telling me this track still has characteristic, which if we know Dale Jr. and all them, when they talk about characteristics, it means this thing has potholes, right? That's their fun way of saying this thing's bouncy as hell. So I'm curious to see how the rear end of this truck treats people when they are making that dive in or when they're pushing harder coming out. I'm curious to see when they're battling, right? Who remembers, hey, that rear end might go.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, Truck Series, I mean, we've talked a lot about it, obviously. Again, tomorrow night, Truck Series action, Flunbugs Truck Series, 9:30 p.m. here on this channel. Man, I'll tell you what, guys, I want to get into the Cup Series, because right now we're looking at race footage of last week's race at Road America. A lot of fun. These guys are getting better and better every season as far as just the skill levels and just racecraft and things like that, respect on the track. These tracks aren't easy in this car, but time and time again, we're seeing that these guys just know how to race and know how to just get themselves to that next level. But this week we go to a fan favorite track, Auto Club, and such a huge wide open track, 4 or 5 lanes, huge speeds. There's just so many times where we've seen racing here. Last season arguably was one of our best races, and that's kind of why we put it into the playoffs, right? We wanted it to be one of those races in the playoffs that just is like a marquee event for us, knowing the racing is going to be this good and it's going to be this tight. I think this car and this track combination is really, really good. as far as in iRacing. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Obviously, we're coming on board. The playoffs, second round, round of 12. So this is going to be a cutoff race. So, but again, really, really tight racing. What are your thoughts?
I'll jump in real quick then. I think it's genius. First of all, right? You started at Texas. Who's fast, right? Who can get around fast? Because at Texas, you got to be fast to win. And then you threw it to Martinsville. All right, boys, now we're tight. Good luck. Get tight. And then we went road course racing. Who knows how to turn right? And now it's auto club, and it's so many group, like you just said, so many lanes, right? You can get wide. You can go run the wall like Larson. You can diamond the turns, yada yada. I love this for the playoffs. We have not seen the same show the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a different show every single time. I love the genius in it.
So
yeah, I just want to. Yeah, no, I just want to jump in about Auto Club. I think personally, Auto Club's kind of. I think it's one of, if not probably the best race to put on for an elimination race, because it just seems like you just said, Auto Club has so many lanes, and it's kind of just whatever you feel comfortable with. If you feel comfortable being on the bottom and wrapping the white line, then perfect, you're comfortable with that. If you're, you want to be up a groove or two, you can be right there, no problem. If you want to run the wall like Larson or like Reddick, like you can be up there too. And I call it a mini wild card race, because
Yeah.
it's not so much as not as everyone can win. Like, I don't think anybody can win Auto Club, but I do think with it being such a draft heavy track, but also a skill based track as well, it's kind of a nice combination between the two. Of just
Yeah, I can agree with
you've
that.
you've seen times that are like really, really close. Like, I probably bet the top 15 will be anywhere within 3.5 tenths of each other, 3 tenths, give or take, around there. So it's it's gonna be a bunch of guys that are the similar speed, and I think it'll be a race of whoever's got the track position, but also has decent enough tires left in them.
I agree with that.
And for sure, and one thing we got to keep in mind too is that this track is going to be, or this race is going to be a night race. So California is known for multiple grooves, but now with the nighttime conditions, it's going to be extremely multi-groove, because now it's going to be multi-groove, but also grip. Grip is going to play into a huge factor for this race. So I think that's kind of a nice thing as well. We're going to see big fields, big action. But a lot of guys, moving on to the playoff points real quick. Going to pop them up on screen.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of cool to see, right? Barroso, Dunkelberger, they go up, right? Larson, he comes down. Dixon, he comes down. Meeks been flirting with him, and Opplinger. They've been flirting with that red line the last 2 weeks,
Yep.
and now we got both of them underneath the red line. Those were the two that were above the red line last week, and now they're below it. So, and then you got Lights. He was way up there, what, 6th, 7th from the top? Now he's at the very bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, things are all over the place, just like this season has been, where I've been talking about it. You start on the pole, it don't matter. You could end in the back. Guys in the back, they could end up in the front. And it's the same way with the daggum playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%. And listen, I know that we're talking real close we're flirting with this red line, talking about Larson and Dixon and Meeks. But let's just go down a little bit to Rafa Song. Only 14 points out. That is not a huge hurdle to jump over. And I honestly could see anywhere between Larson and Rob, I could see a lot of shifting there, because this, like we said, this is a multi-groove track, and listen, it's not a cutoff race, so who's to say that they don't have a great race, gain a couple points, maybe not a ton of movement at that red line, but just enough to where the following week it makes things real interesting.
Well, here's the thing. Auto Club is a cutoff race, my good friend.
That's what I meant to say. It is a cutoff.
Yeah, and he only needs 3 guys to mess up.
Right.
And that's the thing is it's so multi-groove. It takes 1 split second of a hiccup, just not paying attention, or just another guy being too aggressive or not aggressive enough. And these playoffs can change tremendously. All I want to say is keep your eye on Opie, keep your eye on Rob Hasong, and I don't know if Nick can pull it off, but Nick could possibly steal a win here. And then it's going to shuffle everything around.
I'll tell you what, he's long due for a win. So much. He is so long overdue. But 31 points out, it's going to be super hard to obviously, try and make the deficit up. He's going to have to win or come damn close to it, right? But it's going to be tough.
I think the only one with the least stress should be Meeks. He's tied with Dixon. Right? You got one job. Find Dixon, get in front of him. That's your only job, right? You're going into this race looking for that car. Where's Dixon at? I got to be in front of him. Where's his lap times in practice? Meeks has got to be on the ball these next 2 days, watching Dixon in practice, looking at his lap times, looking at the lines he runs. You got one guy you got to be faster than. That's it.
Well,
focus on that car.
Here's the thing. Meeks is 8 points below Dixon. So he's gonna be 8 points to the good. That means that means a couple stage points. That means a couple, you got to finish in front of Dixon every single stage. Right. So that's gonna be the tough part, but very doable at a track that is just multi-groove. Yeah,
and he's been showing us some top 10s more than usual, right? Then again, his song, we see him get some great runs. He gets caught up in stuff, but I mean, I don't know, me personally, I've seen great runs out of his song.
Oh, yeah.
He just needs to put them all together now.
Yeah, with his song, too, last week in race, it was something that happened on the caution lap, and it really messed him up. And I think that's why we see him in control. So I expect him to come out, guns blazing, if you will. And, I think he's going to put up a real good fight. And it could, like I said, it could be really, really interesting.
Yeah, and it's doable. If anybody showed us that, it's the guy right here with us, Frankie Barroso, right? Had kind of just a mellow season, right? Not his norm. And now here we are in the back half of the season and now into playoffs. And daggum, the kid woke up, right? He's in it now. He's fighting every week. So, I mean, his song can still do this.
It'll be exciting for sure. I wish I could sit there and say I'd love to watch this and watch it on play, but unfortunately I'll be white knuckling around with all these things. But it's going to be, irregardless, it's going to be a great race. It's going to be a great call from the booth. And it's going to be exciting. And the best part about it, we're not even close to being done the season yet. This is just a cutoff race. So, it's going to be great, and I'm excited to be a part of it. And with that being said, I hate to cut myself short, but Daddy Duty's call, so I'm going to head out of here. It was a pleasure being on this Shambles podcast with all of you. I wish, Frankie, I wish you the best of luck tomorrow in your race duties, and I will be excited to watch the replay. You guys take care and have a wonderful evening.
Hey, have a good one.
You too, man.
Hey, Thank you,
You know,
Sheldon.
something else I'm excited about. You know, Shelton was just talking. Did y'all see Shelton's paint scheme
Oh,
for
it's
this
so
coming
good.
race?
It is so good.
And I love it. I love it. And now everybody's getting involved with it, right? Who doesn't love tatas, right? We all love tatas, but more than that, we love the the person, right? The lady behind the tatas, right?
Right.
And so this is such a cool race that we get to wrap our arms around the women, right, who are dealing with these type of circumstances and lift them up for a night. I love it.
Yeah, one thing
Yeah.
you kind of mentioned here is we didn't actually make it official yet or talk about it, but yeah, as far as in the Discord in the league, this week is basically breast cancer awareness week for us. So tomorrow night in the truck race, and then Thursday night in the cup race, we challenged everybody, or at least guys, right, to make your paint schemes pink or show support for breast cancer awareness. Do what you
Yep.
can so that it can be just thrown out there. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to see a sea of pink out there on the track tomorrow and Thursday. But it's just a good thing to support, right? It's the end of October. We gotta do it.
Yeah, I love it. And we're guys, right? So to us, it's boobs, but to a lot of guys, right, this kind of hits home, right? It's not just boobs; it's that lady behind them, right? The one that we love the most, our backbones, who are dealing with some of this stuff, and God forbid anybody has to deal with it. But I love that we're lifting them up for a night. It's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I sorry to jump in here, but I personally love the traction it's gotten within the league. I personally would love to see every paint scheme on Tuesday and on Thursday be pink. Because even though it's not a I don't say it doesn't take too long to make a paint scheme pink, but it just shows support, and for a deadly disease like breast cancer.
Yeah.
It's no joke, man. A lot of people, not just women, but some men actually suffer from it too.
Right.
It's not.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, yeah. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's a small percentage, but still, it's a percentage. I personally would like that percentage for both men and women to be zero, but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. And I hope that everyone recovers who is suffering from breast cancer and is dealing with any medical issue. Praying for them and hoping that they have a speedy recovery and go back to their normal life, how everyone should have.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, right now, Cup Series, I can't wait for that. I want to cover real quick the contender playoffs, if I can talk right. One thing we haven't really talked about in the league yet, even on broadcast, is the contender playoffs. It's been this thing within the league, right, that before the season, I wanted to come up with some kind of a format, right, that allowed the drivers who didn't make the championship playoffs still have something to fight for. And we created the contender playoffs. So this was basically for, just to give you a quick overview, and we'll talk about more of this probably in the pre-race and Auto Club and maybe even Talladega the week after. But with this, right, the championship 16 drivers, 1 through 16. The contender playoffs are for 17th through 32nd. These are the guys that obviously didn't make the championship playoffs, but they're still in the hunt for something. Our playoffs are 7 races long. So we don't want people to just, show up and have nothing to really fight for, or maybe they're, fast, but they're not really fast enough, maybe, or high enough in the points to make the money payouts at the end of the season. So this is a really cool way for us to basically make it's the exact same format as the championship playoffs, as you can see here on screen, round of 16, round of 12, but it's just for those guys who finished, 17th through 32nd. And right now, I'll tell you what, the first 2 rounds, Ryan Pasocco was completely dominant. And then at the end of this thing, Ryan Libby, Kevin Bullock, and Michael Lanphier were eliminated. And then right now in the round of 12, just started, Road America was obviously the first race. And Jesse Erdman had a crazy good day. I'll tell you what, that boy was like a top 3, maybe top 5 car for sure. Finished 5th, had a great race for him, and now leads this thing by 31 points. So really, really cool for these guys. So basically Homestead, right? Our season finale, we're going to have the championship 4 and the contender 4. and it's going to be really, really cool to see how these guys mingle together, right? So there's going to be, just based on skill level or speed or whatever, we're going to have a playoff battle at the front of the field and a playoff battle in the midfield. And I think that right there is just so cool, right?
That's cool.
There's battling everywhere. There's always something going on. So
Yeah, that's neat.
I just think this is so important to make sure that everybody in the league and in the series, right, just has something to fight for, whether it's, whatever, right? In the champion, mind you, for this contender playoffs at the end of Homestead, they're going to get $50 and they're going to get free entry into season 4, 2023.
Cool.
Super cool.
The name that jumps out to me is Pasoko. You talk about a guy who is getting better and probably missed a really good playoff run by one season.
Yeah.
This season we've raised the bar, right? With Prestige coming in,
Oh yeah.
and others getting way better. I think if this is last season, if we get Pasoko this season into last season, dude, that Pasoko's in the playoffs.
100%.
Like he is playoff caliber now, and that is not something we could have said about him last year.
Yeah.
Last year was kind of shambles for him.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I know that one personally. So to see what he's done this year, and then Madden from the beginning of the season to now, like, man, we got some guys starting to really step it up. Erdman's been doing really solid all season long. I really think that we go back last year. These are playoff guys. I think that speaks to the league, though, that these guys are down here in the contender playoffs. These are still really strong drivers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it's tough, right? Because it's our top 16 every season, right? Our field is getting better and better and stronger and faster, right? So just to make the top 16 is a testament in itself to get there. But to your point, I mean, this, like, the contender 16 drivers, these guys are so good. I mean, they're dogfighting for these positions. Erdman, Bennett, Madden in my mind is the comeback driver of the year for sure. He has just made a complete whirlwind change, and he is just super impressive.
Balance getting better. He's stepping it up a little bit.
A lot of in Charles Balance. One thing I want to definitely, I know we've already covered the truck series, but man, he has made himself, if I can even talk, into the round of 8. Charles Balance. He is so pumped up when I talked to him and told him he was in. I can't wait to see what he can do tomorrow at North Wilkesboro. But I think you're right, man. I mean, Ryan Pasoko, last season, rough season. But if we had this Ryan last season, I'll tell you what, he's going to move mountains. Frankie, what do you think, man?
No, I think those are all great answers, but there is one name that you guys didn't mention.
Uh-oh.
And his name is Michael Bennett.
Yeah.
Mike Bennett, I'm telling you, and we go to Auto Club this week. He had a top 5 car last year. He was very good last year, Auto Club. And you have,
that's a good point.
What's coming up next? We have
Talladega.
Auto Club, obviously. Yeah, this week, and then next week is Dega. I think Bennett can run well there at Dega. And Dover, I believe Dover, Bennett had a good run there last year too.
He did.
So I think, and I don't really remember Homestead that well, but I'm pretty sure Bennett did do pretty good last year when we were all new to the next gen car. So honestly, I don't like to do this, but I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
Ooh, okay, I like these. What do you got, Frankie?
I just like to hear him talk about Bennett. This is awesome.
I predict Mike Bennett will be the contender playoff champion.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
Coming from Frankie Barroso.
Yeah, and obviously, me and him had a little bit of dust up last year, but honestly, that was last season. I'm over it, and obviously Bennett is a real life driver as well. I'm sure he's gone over it too. Only full focus forward, and man, Bennett's gotten his loud pedal down. This playoff.
And isn't that something neat that speaks to this league? Because let's be honest, the three of us, right, on the same team last year, right? We're all still kind of part of the same team right now, but we were drivers, all three of us drivers last year. Let's be honest, those were two names that were always on our target, right? Always on our hit list, always the ones we're sitting there, growling over. And look at us now this year. I've been pulling for Dadgum Bennett this whole season.
Oh, me
I've been
too.
watching Pasoko do a lot better and having to admit it to myself. Like it's I don't know. It's just neat, right? From one season to the next, how everything goes. I love it. I love the drama and everything that's involved. It's pretty cool.
It's great to see. And Frankie, you make a good point, right? Because Homestead is kind of a unique thing for us. The last couple of seasons, we've made New Hampshire our finale. I'm a little biased. I'm up here in Boston, Massachusetts, so New Hampshire is my local track. And seasons 1 and 2, we made it our championship finale. And honestly, it produced really good racing. But Homestead just feels like the proper place to go. It's not only is it, a mile and a half, it's got the lights, it's got the multi-groove, it's got everything. It just has the vibe to it, right? And I think it'll produce what we're going to want to see for a championship race. And the uniqueness about this track is that we haven't been here for a long time. We were here our second race of season 2, and that was our first real racetrack after Daytona that we got to really feel this car out. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what Homestead has to offer, because the last time we were here, nobody really knew this car that well, and the car has changed so much since then. So
See, and I've never really been the Homestead guy. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm looking forward to it, right?
Mhm.
Maybe this league will change my mind on Homestead. But I do know IRL watching Homestead, I'm just like, gah, I'm gonna go play golf. So, maybe this league will change my mind. I don't know.
Frankie might
Yeah,
have a
you-
little bit
you
of
bring-
bias to it.
Yeah, I'll have a lot of bias to it, but
Frankie's good here.
Steve, yeah, you brought up a great point though, Steve. The car has been through a lot of change since that night. So the car was first extremely snappy, like extremely snappy
Oh,
to the
yeah.
point where you had to drive it 100%.
Mm-hmm.
If you
And
drove it,
snap,
if you
crackle,
drove
and
it
pop.
100, yeah, if you drove it 100.25%, you were
Oh,
you were
you were
spinning.
gone. Yep.
You were a goner. There was almost no saving it. Entry, middle, exit. There
Yeah.
was, and you had to put the time into practice to see, okay, what is that 100%, and what is overstepping that limit.
Right.
So, and we had a great race there last year. The broadcast team last year at Homestead was a little in shambles. I personally, of course, it happened in Homestead, but
Oh man, the only race we don't
Yeah.
have broadcasted, I believe.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's little tidbits, but it's not a whole
Mhm.
race. And man, that was frustrating because I thought those last 30 laps was superb racing,
Oh yeah.
considering we were all new to the next gen, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 wide in the back and in the middle of the pack, 3 wide at the front of the pack, going for the lead with less than 20 to go.
It was so good. I mean, and the line you had to take back then was unique, right? Because, I mean, well, that last 30 laps was a lot of fun, mainly because it was you and I dogfighting for it, and you not expecting me to be up right there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You did. You spooked me. Every restart, I would roll the bottom, and not half throttle, but a little, just to make sure I didn't get the rear tires spinning.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm good. I got a 2-car length lead. I'm good. Let me focus on turn 3.
Right.
The last restart, Steve starts even with me, rolls around the outside. I'm thinking, okay, I got this again. Steve clears me before we get to the exit of the car. I'm like, what just happened? And kind of like put like an absolute screw in my brain. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that just happened. I actually got to go to work now.
Right.
I have to figure out a way to get by you.
See, and the thing that
And-
killed me was that I couldn't get out of turn 4 like I wanted to, because for some reason the grip just went right away, like right towards the end of that run, and I couldn't hold it. But I mean, we finished nose to tail, but it was fun.
I'm curious about the young cat who just jumped in. I don't know if y'all noticed, but
Ooh.
Dunk just snuck in there.
What's up, buddy?
Dunk, have you ran Homestead
Oh
with
yeah,
this new car?
many times. Yep.
What's your feelings on Homestead?
I don't know. This tire model, I think it's a bit of an issue, but I think you're gonna see a lot of tire fall off and see who is actually the best in this league.
I like it.
That's kind of nice,
See,
though, right?
Steve, and then so again, you've got something different every single freaking round. And Homestead's gonna be the tire slayer, I guess is what it sounded
yeah.
like.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's really neat how this ought to be very appetizing to iRacers, right, who are looking for a league, because the playoffs, let's say you're good at this but you're not good at that, you're okay in this playoff system that you have,
Right.
because your style of racing is going to show up because you're all over the board with the style of tracks that you put in the playoffs.
Mhm.
If you're fast, you're going to love Texas. If you're good at road courses, you're going to love where we just left.
Yep.
Right? I love it.
Yeah.
Everybody has a shot.
There's something for everybody in the playoffs. And that's the
Right.
nice thing, right? I mean, right now, Auto Club is going to be a wild card-ish, but then Talladega, right? I think it's placed so well in the round of 8, because if you're a playoff driver into the round of 8, if you win Talladega, you make it into the championship 4. Just
You
like
think about Talladega.
just like that.
Yeah,
So
if you know how to keep the pedal down and find the draft, there's
Right.
Dega.
So somebody that you wouldn't expect, who's maybe a playoff driver, maybe snuck their way to the round of 8, whatever. If they win Dega, they're in, and then that's a huge upset to the guys who've been up front all season, that you would think would be like an automatic to get there, but nothing is automatic in this format, and that's the great thing about it, right? So
When is Dega? Is that 2 weeks from now?
yeah, next Thursday or next Thursday, yeah.
Right now, we got Meeks and Song, right? All these guys kind of have fallen down here to the bottom. That's a chance for them all week long before Dega to go play politics with the rest of the league.
Exactly.
Find buddies, make new friends, and say, hey, man, I need your help. I need some push, right? When we go to Dega, can you help push me? If you see me on the track, get behind me, baby, and shove me around the track. Help me
yeah.
out of Dega. Like, it's
Absolutely.
neat, man. It's a game-changing track.
One thing we did last season, and I think we're going to do it this season again for sure, is I encouraged everybody to, because I mean, like right now, right? There's no like rule that says you have to remain in your same voice chat for the race, whatever, for your team, right? But this last season we did this thing where I kind of like made it super
we did.
like super unofficial or official. I'm like, hey, listen, there's no rule here. If you want to like make whatever.
Who did we
Friendships.
ally with last season?
PGR.
Yeah, that's right. We had
Yeah.
PGR in our radio chat
Yeah.
last year.
So this year we're going to do the same thing. If you want to make an alliance with another team, go and jump in their voice chat and then work together. And honestly, it's going to be a lot of fun to see how that works.
And last season we played that, right? It's just the whole thing with racing. Find the loopholes, right?
Yeah.
You look at what Steve's, what you've given us, and then what can we do to fudge that a little bit?
Mhm.
And last season there wasn't a rule that said we couldn't have another team in our radios. It's like, hey, let's team up with PGR. Let's get them down here with us.
Yeah.
We are better with numbers at these restrictor plates.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
It's tough. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Ryan, I mean, man, like, I know like Auto Club's coming up, right? But like, now that you're in here, what are your playoff like? Where do you think you are? Where do you want to be? How are you feeling about this whole the whole format? What are your thoughts so far?
I definitely a little nervous every week. The unknown can happen at any point in any race, whether that's a wreck or a mistake on pit road or anything. I kind of treat like each race like it's its own thing. Like finish it out, make sure you get as many points as you can, and then just move on to the next week. But it's really interesting how these rounds work because it's like a little season combined into 2 or 3 races.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys like misunderstand that and think they just got to get down to the last race and try to get to the final 4. You got to treat it as a points thing, and you see that Barroso hopped up there, and now I think he's second
Yeah.
in the bracket. And I mean, I'm fighting for my life just to stay in the round of 4, but I think I'm pretty good for the round of 8. We'll see. I don't know. Anything can happen.
Yes, sir. Going to be a lot of fun. I don't want to keep this thing too long right now. We're at about 51 minutes. I'd like to keep this thing at about an hour, give or take. I want to talk about just a quick couple things. And, I mean, Reese, I know you want to talk about a little bit about the truck series. So what do you got for me?
No, all good. I just, we got Duncan here, right? And especially coming off the last truck race.
Right.
I'm curious, right? Dunk, thoughts going into the next truck race, right?
Um,
North Wilkesboro.
Your little arch enemy is not going to be there, right? This is the moment to capitalize on that. He's got a one race suspension. What's your thoughts, man?
I don't know if I'm gonna capitalize on anything. I think I can hold my own in the truck series. I did take it a little personal, but we've definitely moved on. On my side, I've moved on. Just got to focus on the Cup series and my duties there. And I'll be there at North Wilkesboro. I really like North Wilkesboro. But yeah, like I said, I'm not really capitalizing on anything. I think I could kind of hold my own.
And this being the podcast, right? Let loose, right? I want to dig in here just for a tidbit.
Give me some emotion.
Yes, man. What's your emotions of that, dude? Like, you got doored coming out of turn 4 under caution. Like, what's your thoughts, man, coming away from that race?
I mean, I think my reaction came after when the caution was out, and kind of put him in the wall, and I definitely didn't like it. I didn't appreciate it. I don't think anybody else would appreciate it. And we saw it. I mean, in real life, we saw it with Bubba and Larson, and
Yeah, swear to God, it
it's
happens.
Ironically, the same
next
week.
It happens.
we saw the reaction there, and I mean, I think I'm fine with it now. I mean, I wasn't running for points or anything. I wasn't really trying to combat anybody that was running for points. But yeah, like I said, me personally, I can't get raced like that, and I'm pretty sure nobody else would let that happen
Steve,
either.
we got to get Lights in on the next podcast and
Oof.
get his take on that.
Oh, you know it's coming. Yep.
We got to
Absolutely.
get this podcast spicy. I love it.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, just a good job. Obviously, you know, to your point, it is funny how we saw it in the real life scenario and also in this league as well. It just happened to work out that it. But I'm going to ask you the same question. That actually, I'll ask the room here. You know, was it fair that the 4-car got that one race suspension?
I'm gonna say spot on. Yes.
Frankie.
I'd probably say spot on too. I mean,
For those who don't
I
know,
would probably
Frankie's got a like a lead boot. This man will kick your ass right out of a race without even a thought.
Okay, so to speak to that, I definitely think some guys got kicked out of the race that shouldn't have been. I mean, you know, this being the podcast, right? Let's let it all out. And me and Frankie have already talked about it. Like, definitely there was some kicks that probably shouldn't have happened. But I think, you know, during somebody under caution, you know, we had the thing in the regular season with the Cup cars of those two could keep it local. But golly, to door somebody under a caution. Like that's
I wouldn't even
kinda-
say Durham. I mean, it's
Oh, he
in
just
the
took him right out. Yeah.
like at least I kind of felt like how it was. Like if I was in Dunkelberger's shoes, I'd have been. I would have probably had more or less the same actions.
Right.
You know, but I just think, you know, as race control, some people sometimes it's a lose-lose situation, and
Right.
what I'll say about it is like it was just one of those things where it was lose-lose no matter what I did. So, but I am glad that there is now at least a precedent that is kind of clear, and obviously me and Steve are going to try to follow it. I'm going to try to follow it as best I can in the truck series, and Steve will do it in the Cup series.
And Lights isn't here, so I kind of want to speak for him, right? Because everybody has their limit, right? And Dunk, I'm not saying that you purposely went to a limit or that you even thought you were, you know, touching somebody's limit, right? That's whatever. But I will say, I know from last season, I had a guy, Pasoko, he pushed my limits for 6 races in a row, and I just knocked the ever-loving hell out of him at Dega and accidentally took out the pack. I honestly should have been given a 1-race suspension.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I want to add to
looking
that.
back on that, I kind of see, you know, Lights got pissed in the moment, but hey, it's a learning experience. We move on, I hope.
And this isn't just a 1-race thing. I mean, it's happened in the Cup Series where we've had our differences. We had our differences at Chicagoland. I didn't like where I was raced, and I didn't really like think anything of it. We're hard racing. People choose how they want to race, and sometimes they get the boot, and sometimes they are the boot. So, who knows? I mean, I'm not too salty about it, but Yeah, I mean, I just don't like being raced super hard like that. Especially dirty. I'm not a dirty racer. Um, I I race like I have to work on these cars, and
It's a good
to be
point.
raced overly aggressive, I can't. Sometimes I get pushed over my limit.
It's fair enough, man. Well, hey guys, listen. We are at 57 minutes, almost an hour away. Or an hour total. I want to go over one more topic real quick. Next week is Halloween. What are we wearing? First of all, are we going to parties? Are we bringing our kids out? What's the deal? Me right now, I don't know what I'm wearing at this point. My kids want me to dress up as a giant pair of grapes, blow up some
Wow.
purple balloons, and stick them to me.
There
I don't
you
know
go.
yet. We'll see. But what about? I mean, Frankie, come on now. You got to be.
I might be the boring Bob this year.
Oh no.
We're doing Tom Cruise over here.
Ooh, okay. Top Gun.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. So, Frankie,
Top
did
Gun,
you say
baby.
Bob or Bobblehead?
No, I'm saying I'm gonna be.
Because now, for those who don't know,
For those also who don't want to know.
Insert picture here.
yeah, I've got maybe 1,000 memes at this point ready to go, but we're not going to debut those. You'll have to join our Discord for
Yeah.
that.
It'll just depend if I mess up with Steve. If I roast Steve in like a bit of a if I really get under his skin, then unfortunately I'll be the one getting the boot, not anyone else.
There you go. Anyway, Dunk, what do you got, man? Ryan, what are you wearing?
Oh, well, I don't have any plans for Halloween yet. Maybe we'll go to a party, maybe we won't. Maybe I'll stay in, who knows? But I've been the Stig a couple times from Top Gear.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I like
That's
that.
always been a staple for me.
Yeah.
So if I get the chance to go somewhere, I'm thinking I'll be the Stig.
That's sick.
Love that. Well, hey guys, any final thoughts here? I know tomorrow truck race, Thursday Cup Series, both playoff races. I don't know. That's all I got for now. And I think next week I want to go over definitely some next week's gonna be huge because we're gonna know who's cut off, who's out, who's in, things like that, right? So that's gonna be massive as far as
Yeah.
content to talk about. But I mean, Frankie's already made a bold prediction. Michael Bennett, contender playoffs champion, apparently.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Here,
Bold
listen.
prediction.
Here's my prediction. My prediction next race: boobs win.
Hell yeah.
I want every car pink on the track. We're men, right? Let's just say it. We love boobs, but more than that, right? The lady behind them, this one's for them, baby. I hope boobs win.
That's right.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat too, Reese. I'm in that same boat.
I'll just call it how it is, baby.
I'd almost honestly want to talk about, obviously if we have enough time. I almost feel like we didn't get to talk enough about the results from this past week when we went road course racing. I don't know if Steve, if you want to go, do a quick recap of the finishing positions.
Well, listen, I mean, Brandon Six wins another race. Okay, I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. He's just too good. Frankie Rosa,
How the
P2.
hell do we stop Brandon Six?
I mean, I don't know.
Or do you?
You don't.
Do you?
That's true.
I'm almost to that point. Well, let's just forget about him. Let's focus on ourselves and make sure we get a top 5.
You know what?
That's where I'm at with Powerhouse.
I think I might make a bold prediction myself right now. I think, you know what?
We're gonna win Daytona.
I'm gonna just say it. Brandon Six does not win our championship this season.
What?
Wow.
That's. Mm.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that can compete with him.
We're gonna go get him drug tested.
He's an awesome race car driver, and being a teammate of his, I think I've really learned a ton from him. And I do think he's beatable. I mean, I can't deny that he has been beaten. Frankie almost did it. I mean,
He did do it.
we saw it. I
In
mean,
Darlington,
it's kind of
yeah.
like, I don't know. he can have a race. I don't know.
I think
that goes bad.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Brandon Six deserves to win the championship so far, right? He's having that kind of a year, like a Kyle Larson year of last year, right? He's just this good. He's the fastest guy we have, arguably
I tell you what.
on every week. I think he's the most deserving. I'm just saying there's a good handful of drivers right now that can win any week. And Homestead is one of those races where it's four championship dudes, anything can happen. And
100%.
I just think, when it comes to fuel strat or when it comes to, things like that. I mean, we've seen Bowie, right? Brandon Bowie, his teammate, kind of sneak a few out because of strategy, right? And if Homestead comes down to that, maybe that happens to Six again.
We saw this team come from different type of league, right? They weren't so spot on with their strategies the first few races. After that, y'all, it's going to take a box of Lucky Charms to beat that guy. I'm sorry. I'm just going to call it what it is. We need that man to slip up, not hit his marks, to get frustrated. Somebody's going to put the bumper to him quick, get him loose, get in his head. Something's going to have to happen. Otherwise, I see Six taking it home.
Yeah. Just to provide a little insight about my win at Darlington, the only time I have ever beaten Brandon Six at in a race was I got massively lucky. Like
It was a strategy, wasn't it?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I got massively lucky. I won't deny it. I will put out face first. I got very lucky, and I rewatched the broadcast. Reese, you questioned it. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here. Steve, you also questioned it.
No, I did.
It was a very aggressive strategy that I pulled. That it was either going to win me the race or I was going to finish 7th.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
I was a bag of emotions that broadcast.
Yes, as we all heard. As
I
we
went
all
from going,
heard.
oh, beep, to hell yeah, here we go, baby.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I got massively lucky with a caution. I got massively lucky to have great teammates around me. I got, I'm a very lucky person, and I'm glad I got it because without that win, I probably am struggling a little bit more throughout these playoffs. So it just speaks to the fact that, in another case, that playoff points just matter so much as Brian Dixon.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If he didn't get that win at Atlanta,
He's not in.
he's not in making the playoffs.
Mhm.
Therefore, he's not making the round of 12, and he's not in a great position to make the round of 8, which is what he has done for himself.
Right.
He has put himself in a position to move on into the round of 8. We weren't saying that 4 races into the year. We were thinking this guy was going to be he maybe will be a playoff guy,
Right.
but he might get bounced in the first round. And maybe nobody might be surprised. He may surprise us and get to the round of 12, but there is no way he's getting to the round of 8. And look at him go. He's surprising us. He's surprising even himself.
The neat thing about Six and Bowie and Phipps and Dunk, these guys coming into this league is now it's not just to show up on Thursdays, practice for 2 hours, and you're ready. Like, you better be on your game right after that race ends. You got to be on your game for next Thursday, right? As soon as that race ends that Thursday night, it's time to start thinking about next Thursday, putting the laps on, right? Getting lap times, getting seat time, because that's the only way you're going to drive around these cats.
Yeah.
Is to get as good as you can. If this is just your Thursday thing, good luck in this league.
Yeah, it's the old adage, hard work beats talent.
Right.
But when a guy who works hard has the talent, it's hard to beat him. So
Oh man. Yeah.
for
100%.
at least for us, it's you got to work as hard or harder than Six. And what's also tough is, he's been in the service for maybe at least. I don't know how long it is, but it is very long. It is quadruple the amount of experience I've had by myself.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
not only that, but they know how to manipulate the car to do what it wants them to do. Like if both Brandons want a tight race car going in our club, they're gonna get a tight race car going.
Mm-hmm.
If they want a loose race car, they're gonna get it loose.
Steve, you were part of us last season, but for the existence of our team with Frankie and Fleming, I could go into every week going, you know what? I got Frankie and Fleming. We're good, right? We're gonna get top 5.
Right.
We got this. Now, this season, it's hey, guys. I mean, y'all have seen it in our team chat. Dunk, I don't know about y'all's, but I know in ours, it's hey, who's practicing? And Frankie can attest to this. We haven't had a season like this where we've stayed on top of each other as a team on hey, who's putting laps in, when,
Oh,
what
yeah.
time, can we help, yada yada yada. I like the direction this league is going because it's making it push yourself. I love it.
I think that the teams have really added that characteristic. When you have these groups of guys, there's always that singularity, that good guy that has much more experience than everyone else, and it helps to kind of move off of him. And that's exactly what we've done. Both Brandons have been, helping us, Andrew and I, because this is our first time in this league, and we're not big NASCAR guys. We usually like the short tracks, the super late models and stuff like that. And this Cup car is completely different to what we're used to, and they've helped a lot because they have the experience.
See, yeah, and I love the team aspect. Frankie can attest to this. Everywhere we've taken this team into all the different leagues, we get shunned sometimes, right? We get drivers, oh, we don't like the team thing. We don't like the team thing. Man, the team thing is cool as hell.
Oh, yeah.
I love what it brings to leagues.
Oh yeah.
I think that's part of our success too, right? Is that like teams come in and they encourage each other. In this season, we pretty much mandated, being on a team. And, this is how, I mean, like Ryan, you and Andrew, like, got in cahoots with the Prestige boys, right? So, like, without that probably wouldn't have happened. Same thing with, a couple other teams, like Steel City and things like that. But, I mean, I think that's ultimately, kind of the cool thing. And it served its purpose, we're out here to put on good racing and a good, simulation, good broadcast, things like that. But we're also looking for, just all the other good stuff, right? Like as far as like just, escaping.
Yeah, in the meantime, you get that good fellowship.
That's big to me, honestly, because listen, we're all men, right? We all have day jobs, going through the grind, Monday through Friday, whatever it is, and it's nice to have that outlet, where we can come online and do these things, right? And talk to each other, have fun, have good racing, put on a good show. And it means something, right? It means something to these guys. Matt Fleming, I'm seeing you pop into this on-air chat, man. What's going on, dude?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, Dern.
What's your night like? What are you doing? What are your thoughts?
Oh, we are going well past that.
We've talked about it's just how it is at this point. What's your I don't know, man. What do you got?
Oh, I have no idea. I've just finished working in the shop for the night, and I just saw you guys were on.
Cool.
Well, I mean, we got him in here. Fleming, what's your thoughts where you're at in the points?
Yeah, I wish I was a little bit higher, but I still feel confident going into this Thursday. Moto Club, I'm pretty decent at usually. So we'll see. I think we'll be all right, but won't know until Thursday comes and see what we got.
Steve, we were talking about Pasoko, right? Who he would have been last year with the skills of this year.
Oh yeah.
Fleming, another one that this year, dude, this boy, like, damn, he's picked it up for us over at PHM this year, right? Barroso kind of having a mellow season. Flemdog picked us up. He put us on his shoulders this season. Barroso's coming live here at the end, but all season long, Fleming really piggybacking us. And I'm sitting there looking at the playoff standings.
Oh yeah.
Here's the names that are above Fleming: Bowie, Dunk, Silver, Barroso, 6. Like that's some pretty badass names on top of you right there.
But I want to add to that. In addition to that, Fleming was above me the last week, so I think there's a lot of variability in this. And he could be up there next week. He could be in first next week.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah, it changes every week. But I mean, Frankie obviously had a great Road America, and that's why he's second in points right now. But at the end of this thing, right? I mean, if you make it in on points in the next round, which two guys do every round, then I mean it doesn't really matter where you finish, or like Frankie being in second right now doesn't mean anything, as long as he makes it into the next round, right? The thing that he's focused on right now, maybe even Fleming and Ryan, right? You guys are focused on making the round of 8, obviously, but you're probably more interested as well in getting stage points and race wins, because that gives you the additional playoff points that'll carry you over into the round of 8.
100%.
Correct.
So that's huge. But yeah, we are going a little late. Frankie, I know you've got a league race to go to, I believe. Yes or no?
I do.
Okay.
I was gonna jump off the podcast here.
Yes,
but,
sir.
If you're still going, but if you're ending it right here, I'll stay on with you.
We're going to end in just a second. I do want to save some content for next week, for sure, because there's plenty of things to talk about. For anybody in the future or even now who's listening to or watching this live, throw it in the comments what you want us to cover next week for topics, and we'll cover it. Definitely. One thing I want us to cover, obviously, will be this week's action as far as, North Wilkesboro and Auto Club. We'll look at the results of all that and maybe talk to some more drivers and kind of just keep going with this format of just kind of a free for all. But real quick, before we end, Josh Larson pops in here. Just finished covering the pumpkins with the kids. How'd that go?
No one got cut this year, so pretty good.
This year.
I have teenage boys, and sometimes they get into pumpkin fights, and it's usually a mess. But this year, just the 2 little ones, so it went pretty easy. Took about an hour to convince my 5-year-old daughter to reach in and grab the pumpkin seeds out, but it was cool. It was fun.
Awesome, man. Hey, real quick, what's your season, man? I mean, right now we're looking at the point on screen. Right now you are P7 above the cut line, 11 points to the good. I mean, Auto Club is next. Obviously, a real big wide open track. Going to be a lot of fun. Fan favorite. Last season, arguably, might have been our best race of the season. What do you think? I mean, as far as what you expect and how you think you're going to do?
I don't know. I didn't run Auto Club last year. I think you and I we both missed that race last year.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Due to work.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I'm going to approach it the same way I do all my other races and put in some time, put in the laps, and go get whatever I can.
Yeah, that was fun last season for me in a way, because last season I was racing, and I hated to miss the race because I love California. But I was, some backstory, I was literally in the middle of nowhere in very northern New Hampshire. I probably could have thrown a rock to Canada. But in the hotel room, super late, in the lobby, just sucking off the Wi-Fi that they had that was marginal at best. And just watching the race as a fan, and it was crazy, right? But it was my first time to see the league from that 10,000 foot view, right? And it was really neat to see like the product, how it was, what it looked like, because that was about mid-season, more or less, in the regular season last season. But it was just so cool to watch, so fun. The racing was just on point, and if we come anywhere close to that, on Thursday, it's going to be such a good time. And I mean, honestly, I really do think it's going to be. It could rival, one of our better races of the season, and we've had a lot of them. So I'm looking forward to see what it produces, what kind of winner we get, and then ultimately, obviously, who advances to the round of 8 in the championship and contender playoffs. Any final thoughts, guys? I know right now I do want to wrap it up, get some things going on. I want to save some content for next week. But any last thoughts? Oh, Josh, this is important. We talked about this a second ago.
Uh-oh.
What are you going to be for Halloween?
Michael Myers.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Classic.
I'm a big guy, so I need a big, costume, and that kind of fits me pretty good.
I love that.
And I don't have to talk to other parents because Michael Myers doesn't talk.
That's true.
So
that is ideal, actually.
Listen, if you ever saw me, I'm like an upside down pear, man. I'm like the perfect Buzz Lightyear shape. one of these days I'm gonna go all out and just get like a sick costume. But anyway, on that note, this has been the Inside the ASRA podcast. ASRA, by the way, is going to be our new 2023 league name. We're going to have 3 series: the Wheels America Cup series, the Flum Dogs Truck series, and the Units Grassroots Super Late Model series, which all these things have been announced, but not technically official. But
Love it. This
ASRA
baby finally has a name.
it does. It's going to be really good. Everything kind of has that umbrella feel to it, right? ASRA is going to be covering everything that we have. It's going to be a lot of fun, and next season is going to be crazy. I'll tell you what, right now, a lot of inner workings are being talked about, a lot of rulebook changes and just format things and things like this. We're going to definitely talk more about 2023 very, very soon, probably in the next couple of weeks on stream, and maybe even in these podcasts for sure, because we have a lot of things to cover as far as next season. But obviously, we're going to take December off and enjoy family and Christmas and stockings and candy and all that kind of fun stuff, and Thanksgiving. But for now, this is it. That's the podcast, guys. Episode 1, Shambles. I'll tell you what, we are. Don't even get that wrong. But guys, thanks for showing up today. It's a lot of fun, and we'll be back probably next week. We'll see. I don't know. We're kind of just gonna test these out for now and see if we like them. But if not next week, the week after. But you'll know when we're live. Follow us, subscribe to us, do the whole thing, hit all the buttons, and we love you. Peace out.